sorry, I lost my connection. I'm walking in the neighborhood. So anyway, I thought I have 8 years of homeschool experience and started when my kids were in elementary school, and now they're into middle school and high school age. And so I do have some experience, and I thought maybe I might be able to be helpful to somebody. Our homeschool experience, I had never planned on homeschooling ever. I was not that mom, and I just kind of thought that was always for like weirdos. Sorry homeschoolers. I don't think that way now, but I was never interested in that. I had a great public school experience. But I found myself with a child who really didn't fit into the mold of school, and he was super smart, and I knew it, brilliant really, but just did not fit in with how things are done at school. And so after maybe a couple years of watching him kind of spiral down, I knew that he was not going to be able to be a happy, successful human being and do the public school thing. And so kind of forced me to being a homeschool mom. And so I just kind of embraced it, and I had to learn how to do it. And it's been an incredible journey, and I've learned a ton. So I thought I would just throw some hints, some tips, some tools out there for anybody who finds themselves doing this all of a sudden. And if you want to leave me a question, I'm totally interested in doing another live. I'm not good at like reading questions. Hi, Julie. And talking at the same time. So if you have a question, maybe I'll see it. If not, I will maybe come back to it later. But I love to share. I love to talk. And so maybe I can be helpful to someone. Number one thing I want to say to all you homeschooling parents is you can do this. You really can. And I'm going to say this too. No matter what, you are not going to ruin your child and their educational future over the course of the next couple of weeks of homeschooling. You're not going to do it. There's no way. Even if they sit and watch TV or play video games, they're still learning something. You're not going to ruin them. So take a deep breath. You're going to be okay. I remember feeling that way the first few months of worrying about, oh my gosh, was I able to do this? Do I have enough to give them? And the answer is yes, you do. So you'll be fine. So just take a deep breath. For me, I think about, for those of you who are homeschooling just kind of temporarily, you're not thinking about the long haul of homeschool. You're just thinking about how you can maintain some sanity in the home, to create some good habits so that you can keep your kids learning and feeling healthy and positive. And so that's kind of the goal. The goal is to just maintain sanity and be productive. Okay, so number one tip is create a schedule. Create some kind of routine. There's a lot of schedules kind of floating around online, a lot of good ones. But I think it's super important. Even if you schedule in time that is recreational, your choice, whatever, if you create a loose schedule that includes meal times and snack times, academic times, definitely outdoor times. Like for me right now, I was about to go crazy. I forced myself to get outside because I know it's good for me and it's good for your kids too. So outdoor time, quiet time, creating a schedule is good. For my kids, they have what I call a weekly, just kind of a blank sheet that outlines the different fields of study they're taking on and what they plan to do that week, and they kind of go through and check off every day. I'm happy to share that if anybody is interested. Creating a schedule. I'd like to give this especially a tip for moms with, it's really kids any age, honestly. Hi. We have in our house the morning 5. And it goes bed, teeth, hair, prayer, dressed. Hey, Sandra, I've been thinking about you in London. Bed, teeth, hair, prayer, dressed. That has to be done before anything else. You got to make your bed. You got to bed teeth, brush your teeth, hair, prayer, dressed. Say your prayers, brush your hair, brush your teeth, get dressed before you can do anything. So even if your schedule is to have the kids, just enjoy screens in the morning, that's fine. But for our family, getting those first 3 things done is a really good thing, because then they don't just hang around all day and feel that blah, done nothing. So morning 5 is a big one for us. We've also implemented a chore chart, and we just have it posted in the kitchen. No one has to talk about it. There's no fighting about it. It's just there. Monday, you have to unload the dishwasher. Tuesday, you have to take out the trash. No discussion. It just is what it is, and everyone has to do their part. So morning 5, morning chores, is definitely part of our routine. But this can be totally personal for you. Whatever works for your family, whatever you think will work best. I have to say, I'm going up a hill now. As you're creating this schedule and routine with your kids, they're going to fuss about this. It's going to be different. It's going to be new and uncomfortable. But if you, as the mom or dad, sticks with it and stays consistent, they will thrive under a routine. We all know how it is in the summer when there's no routine. Kids are super bored. Everyone is grouchy. We all end up doing better under a routine. So number 1, implement that schedule, that routine, to keep everybody moving along. And then trying to get the kids involved. Mealtime. It's a necessary evil. We have to have it. I have found that my happiest time as a mom is when my kids, all of us, are together in the kitchen doing something. Have someone make the salad, have someone make the rice, have someone cook the vegetable, whatever. It's so fun. I personally love to turn on music. So for me, music and cooking, everyone together, is a really great family activity. And a total bonus if they're learning a life skill while they're doing it. For me, I feel super accomplished. I feel super accomplished when I know my kids are learning a skill that is going to help them in their adult life. So, hi, Kristen. So number 1, creating a routine, creating a schedule, recognizing that there's going to be some pushback at first. That's fine. But sticking to it. Okay, so I have another tip for complaining and pushback. So you have your routine, you have your morning 5, you have your chores. We also have an additional chore jar. And my kids are past this now because we're past this phase. But to have a jar with little slips of paper in it that has chores on it. So my favorites are like mate 10 pairs of socks, or go pick up 25 pine cones in the yard, or, go sweep the bathroom floor, whatever. And if your kids are complaining, you can ask them to please stop. And if they're not going to stop, they need to go choose from the chore jar. And it's a really kind of a good, quick fix. You don't have to get emotional about it. You don't have to be upset about it. It's just, that's how we do it. If there's complaining, you need to go do an additional chore. So if that is a problem in your families, I'm sure none of you have any problems with complaining with your children. But if you do, that has worked for my family. And we are not perfect, but my kids really don't complain. They don't complain. You need to set the table. Okay. You need to do the dishes. Okay. They do it because it's a learned behavior. It's a learned response. So maybe try it. I'd be really interested to see how everyone does with that. Okay, so we've covered kind of a routine and expectations. That's really important. Next one I would say is, this is a really unique time for all of us. And even though it's an uncertain time, lots of anxiety and fear, I think it's also a unique time for us to spend a lot of time together with our family and to get to know our kids better. And I remember when I first brought my kids home from school, I started to really learn about them. Of course, I knew them, but I felt like spending all this time with them allowed me to really get to know them a lot better. So, I would recommend sitting with your child at the beginning of this homeschool experiment and asking them, what would your ideal school schedule look like? And then listen to them. Maybe they're going to talk about reading books all day long, or maybe they'll talk about, and one of my sons in particular is obsessed with food and cooking. He cooks 3 meals a day. He's 16 years old, just about. And he loves to cook. He cooks all of his meals. Another one's super obsessed with history. He studies so much history all day. So, this temporary homeschool time for you is you don't need to worry about their education from here on out. You just want to keep them productive. Why not give them a little more time to study the things that they really, really love? Because what's going to happen is as they study those things that they love, they are going to learn so much. They're going to learn so much about that thing they're passionate about, and it's going to be a positive experience for them. But if you're sitting there cracking the whip over their shoulder, like you've got to do, every subject every day, they're going to end up hating the whole experience, and it's going to be miserable. So I know some of you probably have requirements, e-learning and stuff like that. Do what's required, but with the rest of the time, maybe really sit with them and encourage them to explore something they're excited about. In the church, our church, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we have a new program that revolves around the children and youth setting goals. What a great opportunity to sit with your child and say, hey, we have some extra time. Let's set a goal. What do you want to do? And help them to get started. The key there being, help them get started, but it's not your responsibility to entertain them and to be with them all the time. That's huge. We take as parents, oftentimes we feel like, oh, it's our responsibility to entertain our kids, to keep them always busy. We're going to have to break that because it's impossible. If we have multiple kids and we have things that we need to be doing also, and now we find them home all day, they're going to have to take the initiative to do things themselves. So we become the facilitator. And this is how I have felt about homeschool all along, is I can help facilitate the learning for my child, provide them resources, curriculum, set expectations for them, and also help them to realize it's their opportunity. This is your chance. You have 2 weeks, at least, where you have more freedom in your education and learning. What are you going to do with it? This is your opportunity, your privilege, your education. And I know that sounds like really idealist, but it has totally worked for my kids. And they have all learned, if you ask them, like, whose responsibility is it to get an education? They will say, it's mine. And as a result, my kids are very self-motivated learners. My youngest, who's almost 13, is still coming along, but I'm confident it'll come because all of them did. They learned that it's their responsibility and that they want to be educated. They want to learn. They want to grow better at what they're passionate about. And my kids are so different, and it's so fun to watch them kind of grow into their passions. So let them dictate how they want to spend their extra time and set the requirements, set the expectation, but also empower them to know, like, this is your opportunity at this unique time to really do something great with this time. Okay, last thing I'm going to say, unless you have a question, I can see my question. So if you have a question about homeschooling at all, I've been doing it for 8 years. I would love to answer it. So send it on over. The last thing I'm going to say is a phrase that I do say to my kids, especially my youngest, who is generally complains a little bit more about being bored, is I just say bored and brilliant. And I heard that somewhere, somebody else's mom phrase of some sort. But don't entertain your kids. They have to be bored. They have to feel uncomfortable in order to take action. If we're always there I'm all about suggesting games ideas and stuff, but to drop everything you're doing and always entertaining them is not a good thing. It's when you allow them to be bored, they go outside and build a fort. When you allow them to be bored, like happened in my house today, my son was lying on the couch wrapped in a blanket. I'm thinking, oh no, is this how we're going to do this the next few weeks with no friends? And I just let him sit there. And next thing I knew, I hear all the Legos shuffling around. So it's when they are bored, they go and pull out an old toy, build Legos, play with their siblings, play outside. So don't be afraid to allow them to be bored and brilliant, because that's going to help them grow. It's a really good skill to know how to occupy yourself. All right, so I shared a few tips. I shared about schedules and routines, expectations. I shared about empowering your kids with the knowledge that this is their opportunity and their privilege to do with this time something amazing. Facilitate as a parent. You can facilitate, but you're not expected to entertain them. And then, allow them to be bored. Okay. Thanks, Julie. Thanks, everybody, for watching. If you have any questions, I'll keep talking because I'm still on my walk. Look at the beautiful Yoshino cherry tree. It's definitely starting to bloom spring here in North Carolina. And this is what I'm hoping for. All this warm weather is going to make everybody healthy, and we're going to be back to our regular routines in no time. Yeah, tons of hearts to that. Let's all carry that really positive energy out there. Spread that energy. Keep hopeful. Keep sharing. I'm doing this for my mental health to hopefully help some of you with the challenge that's ahead of you right now. So if you have any questions, post it, and I'll go live again, and maybe I'll have a few more suggestions. So take care, everybody. Stay positive. Get on here and leave your own video. It takes courage, but it's kind of fun. Okay, bye.